The Middle East, a region synonymous with volatility, is once again embroiled in conflict. This time it's a bloody confrontation between Israel and Lebanon, fueled by decades-old tensions and punctuated by the shattering of lives. The world watches with bated breath, fearing a conflagration that could engulf the entire region. At the heart of this conflict lies a complex web of grievances, alliances, and ideologies, making a peaceful resolution seem as distant as ever. The most tragic consequence of this conflict is the rapidly rising death toll. In Gaza, a densely populated Palestinian enclave, Israeli airstrikes have reduced homes to rubble, burying families under the debris. Hospitals overflow with the injured, a grim testament to the indiscriminate nature of war. Lebanon too bears the scars of conflict, with Beirut, its capital city, reeling from the impact of Israeli bombs. The sight of children pulled from the wreckage, their lifeless eyes staring into the void, is a stark reminder of the human cost of conflict. The numbers tell a chilling tale, but it is the faces of the dead and the stories of those left behind that truly illustrate the depths of this tragedy. This conflict is not just about military targets, it's about the erosion of international norms and the disregard for human life. The attacks on civilian areas, deemed unlawful by international conventions, point to a dangerous precedent. Schools, hospitals, and residential neighborhoods have become fair game, turning safe havens into death traps. Even more concerning is the targeting of UN facilities, symbols of neutrality and providers of humanitarian aid. These attacks not only endanger the lives of aid workers, but also cripple the delivery of essential services to vulnerable populations. The message is clear in this conflict: there are no innocent bystanders. Section 4. Hezbollah enters the fray. Rockets and retaliation. Adding fuel to the fire is Hezbollah, a powerful political and militant group based in Lebanon. Viewed as a terrorist organization by Israel and its allies, Hezbollah has responded to Israeli strikes with rocket barrages into northern Israel. This tit-for-tat exchange has only intensified the conflict, trapping civilians in a deadly game of military chess. Hezbollah's involvement injects a new level of complexity into the conflict, making a negotiated settlement even more elusive. The group's motivations, intertwined with regional power dynamics and ideological convictions, require careful consideration if a lasting peace is to be achieved. Section 5. Echoes of Terror. The shadow of the Hamas attack. This latest eruption of violence is inextricably linked to the recent Hamas attack on southern Israel. The images of that attack, etched into the world's collective memory, depicted a level of brutality that shocked even seasoned observers of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. The attack shattered any illusion of peace and set in motion a chain reaction of violence that has now engulfed Lebanon. The Hamas attack serves as a stark reminder of the deep-seated hatred and mistrust that permeates the region. It also highlights the interconnectedness of these conflicts, demonstrating how quickly violence in one area can ignite a wider conflagration. Section 6. Israel's defense, a question of proportionality and international law. Israel justifies its actions in Lebanon as self-defense, a right enshrined in international law. The government argues that its strikes are necessary to protect its citizens from Hezbollah's rockets and to degrade the group's military capabilities. However, concerns have been raised about the proportionality of the response, particularly given the high number of civilian casualties. The question of proportionality is central to international humanitarian law, which prohibits attacks that cause excessive civilian harm in relation to the anticipated military advantage. While Israel maintains that it takes precautions to minimize civilian casualties, the evidence on the ground suggests otherwise. Section 7. A world on edge. Global implications and the urgent need for peace. The world watches this conflict with a mixture of horror and helplessness. The stakes are high, not just for Israel and Lebanon, but for the entire region and beyond. The Middle East is a tinderbox, and any escalation risks igniting a wider conflagration, drawing in global powers and further destabilizing an already volatile world. The international community must act, and act decisively. Empty condemnations and diplomatic platitudes are not enough. What is needed is a concerted effort to broker a ceasefire, address the underlying causes of the conflict, and provide humanitarian assistance to those caught in the crossfire. The alternative is too horrific to contemplate.